This podcast is sponsored in part by Benjamin Hart.
That's me!
And yours truly, Zach Arnold.
And by participation from listeners like you. So let's tune in to another episode of
IPC.
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 IPC. IPC. IPC.
IPC.
IPC.
IPC. The Intergalactic Peace Coalition podcast.
All the galaxies.
All for you.
Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Intergalactic Peace Coalition podcast, broadcasting live right here on Fandom Empire on YouTube. And boy, oh boy, do we have a fantastic episode for you guys tonight. You may have heard about this little phenomenon known as Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it's been a pretty big deal over the last few months. And yes, we are late getting to this, but there's been other things that have been more or less taking up our time. So we're finally getting around to this. We figured better late than ever. And tonight we will be discussing parts 1, 2, and 3, or chapters, I should say, of that film. And then we're going to come back in 2 weeks for our next episode and talk about the final 3 chapters. Yes, this is a giant 2-part episode for a giant ass film. So yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun, guys. I have been very vocal about the fact that I love this movie far more than I ever expected I would. So I'm looking forward to talking about it. And you may have noticed, if you're watching the stream, you're like, wait a minute, does Zach grow a beard? What is going on here? This is weird. No, that's not Zach. That's not an imposter. There's no conspiracy here. Zach is not with us tonight. Unfortunately, he's on vacation. He'll be back next time. All right. So don't worry about him. He's getting a much needed break. But to keep us going and to help us through this next little bit and to bring some DC expertise, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing about, we got our good buddy Chad from Star Wars Culture to help us out and talk Justice League. Chad, what's going on, man?
Oh, not much. Just ready here to talk about one of my favorite movies. This one's a blast. It was a trek trying to convince myself that I have to rewatch it since the first viewing. And was not looking forward to it, but once I started watching it, it was couldn't stop. It was really hard to hit pause at the end. At the end of this 3 parts, and I was like, I just want to continue watching the 4 hour. I got 2 more hours of this movie. I want to continue watching, but I can't.
Right.
Next time. Next 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks.
Yeah. We got a little bit of time. I was kind of in the same boat. I watched a couple chapters last night to finish off, getting ready for this, and I got to chapter 4. I'm like, man, I will have to stay up all night. I won't get anything done if I stay here. But I really want to finish watching this movie, and I'm very much looking forward to, over the next 2 weeks, catching up on it and going back and watching all of this movie again, because I enjoyed the first half. And yeah, it's slow, man. It's not your average movie. It's a movie that takes its time. I am someone with the attention span of a 5-year-old. It's amazing that I was able to sit through this and not get bored, but I genuinely I love this movie. See, and we're going to get into that.
Yeah, that's how you know it's a good movie. It's because I'm the same. I have no attention span, but once once it started going, and I was just like, oh yeah, this part. I'm like, oh yeah, this happens next. This is the second time I've seen this movie, and I'm like, oh man, oh yeah, that's what happens. It's so good.
Yeah, exactly.
Third time if you consider the other version that we don't talk about.
Oh yeah, we don't talk about that other version, the other Justice League. No, we're not gonna. We've already talked about that thing twice on the show for some reason. I don't know why, but never again. Okay, so we've got some other stuff to talk about tonight. We got a little bit of news off the top. We'll jump straight into that. And first of all, some unfortunate news. Rest in peace to the great, incredible Richard Donner, who passed away at 91. Obviously, for those who don't know, the director of the original Superman, and just so many other things. And I mean, I think it's fitting to mention him tonight, talking about Justice League, because I think he not only kind of birthed the DC films, but just superheroes in general. I don't think would be as big on the big screen as they are right now without him. And it's amazing because I think he was a personal mentor to people like Kevin Feige, and like he had so much influence in like that first Superman film. I have my issues with that movie. I love it, but also it hasn't maybe aged as well as some other movies. But just establishing like superheroes as a legitimate, film, and making the story so relatable and so real. And as the tagline goes, making you believe a man can fly. Like it totally sells that. So such a huge loss. And, he was still, I think, recently working on stuff. Like it's crazy to lose him, but he had a full life.
Yeah, agreed. And that scene where Superman drops off Lois, and like the next scene, like the same pattern, it's just one continuous shot, and then you have Clark just coming at the door. It makes you believe that like Superman was real. And like I remember the first time I watched it, and it was just like, oh man, how is he flying? Like this is so real.
Because like we're so like spoiled nowadays. Like we have like CGI and stuff like that. Like they couldn't do that stuff back in the day. So you're like, wow, wait, how did they do that?
How is he flying? I don't think we'd have the superhero genre if we didn't have the first Superman movie. I don't think Marvel movies would be as big. I mean, the Batman 89 movie is huge, and I don't think it would have ever existed if if Superman never came out. So
yeah, and like that's the gold standard, like Christopher Reeve Superman, and we judge all the new Supermans, whether it's Tyler Hoechlin or Henry Cavill, like we judge all of them, but also just against all the new movies, any superhero movies, like, is this got the same magic? And I think there's you can see a lot of the great superhero films we see today. You can kind of trace some of that inspiration back to that original Superman movie. Sure, it's so sincere. Yes, it's funny, it's goofy, but it's also treating the material with, because people still don't take comics that seriously. And they shouldn't be taken that seriously, but they should be taken seriously enough to where these are real characters. This is a real thing, and it's great.
Yeah, it's just fantastic films. So much good to say about this guy. Haven't seen the movies in forever, and I was gonna watch them the other day, and then I was like, I gotta prepare for this though. I gotta watch this Superman movie.
So many things to watch. But okay, speaking of things to watch. So switching over to the Marvel front, we have a new trailer for What If, which is the new Marvel series that's coming out. I think it's going to be premiering the day that Bad Batch ends, which is August 11th.
It'll be appearing the week, I want to say.
The week.
Bad Batch. Yeah, Bad Batch ends on Fridays, and this will start on Wednesdays, so it'll be like the week.
You are correct. You are correct. So it's the same week. So we'll kind of have like a little bit of overlap. We'll have What If on Wednesdays, I'm assuming, and then Bad Batch on Fridays. But this looks really cool. Like
we already have the overlap though, so with Loki.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't know what to expect with this thing. Obviously, like different universes, whatever, already getting a taste of the multiverse in Loki, but getting into this and like really, showing like, oh yeah, okay, what if Tony Stark, I don't know, like the opening shot is like him meeting Killmonger and Killmonger helping him and like saving his life. So he never like has all that experience in the case. Like, does he become Iron Man? Probably not. And like, how does Killmonger's influence affect Tony? Like, there's so many different things that I wouldn't have expected. Like, I would have been like, oh, what if Tony Stark died instead of living? Like, I would have been the dummy that came up with that idea. But like, this is interesting stuff.
I love the concept of like a what if. It's a great concept, and just seeing this, like I was hooked at that like first trailer that they released a couple months ago, like December or something like that, when they did that Disney thing. And I was like, oh yeah, this looks awesome. I can't wait. And then this one, I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be like one of the greatest shows ever. I'm already loving Loki. I love the other other two Marvel shows, my bad, that already came out. And I was like, oh man, what if is going to be probably the best one. I don't know how it's going to tie in or anything or what's going to happen, but it's going to be so awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, I love like there's different shots of like it shows like the original like Avengers in New York, and then it swaps to like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, what is going on there? And there's so many other things that are like, okay, what is all this? I love the T'Challa as Star-Lord. And apparently this is going to be the final performance of Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, which is so bittersweet for so many different reasons. But I'm glad we're getting at least one more performance as that character because he was amazing and we miss him. But it looks great. And just the idea of like, oh yeah, they adopted a kid from Wakanda. Like, what would that be like? Like, that's just so interesting.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to this series. It looks so awesome. Animation looks pretty like really good. I love kind of like that animation style. It's unique. I've never really seen it before, but it's just looks so good. Like, I know Marvel animation's been iffy in the past. Like, there's been some good ones, and then there's been some bad ones, and there's been more bad than there was good. But I'm looking forward to this one. I think this one's gonna be like a great one. So.
Right. I like that it's kind of like this. It's not like super realistic. It's not like Bad Batch quality. Like, it's just kind of a little janky. And like, I appreciate that it's animation. They can do whatever they want with animation. And it's not like your thing. Like, yeah, it'd be cool if this was live action, but I don't really need that. I like the idea.
A what if concept works perfect in animation because you can pretty much do anything in animation. Compared,
right? You're gonna end up being limited because like you have the guy like Tony Stark is clearly not being played by Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
and like it takes you out of it a little bit, but ultimately you can kind of look it over. If Robert Downey Jr. if they had Tony Stark in live action and he wasn't played by Robert Downey Jr., people would riot. It would not be good.
Yeah, it looks so fantastic. I can't wait.
I
want to see other series do like a what if concept like show.
I am totally game. Like, I want Star Wars, and I mean, comics have always done this what if stuff, but not at this scale. So I would be very, very, very down for that.
I mean, talking about DC, because we will be. DC has the Elseworlds, and like some of those concepts are great. I love Red Superman and like Batman by Gaslight. Two of my favorite animated superhero movies.
And some of my favorite bits of like the Arrowverse, which I've had complicated feelings over the years, like is like when they go to like different versions of this thing when season 2 of the Flash, season 2 of the Flash where they go like to Earth 2 and they're doing all that kind of stuff. Like, that's just top tier. It's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have something else, and this was your idea, Chad. And I have to give credit to you. You came up with, well, why don't we do top 5 DC films? Just totally impromptu or whatever.
Yeah.
And I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Can I explain myself? Yeah, I was making my notes for the Justice League, and I was just like on a part. You'll find out when we get there. And I was like, oh, this movie's in my top 5 favorite DC movies. And I was like, wait, they do top 5s here. Why don't we do a top 5 DC movie? And then I just shot you a message, and you were like, let's do it. So I'm ready whenever you're ready.
I'm game. So we couldn't include everyone. Obviously, this isn't like a full top 5 report, but we did get some really interesting ones from our patrons. And this is one of the perks of being a patron, as you are, Chad. You are one of our patrons, and I think one of the reasons, actually, the main reason you are on the show right now is because Zach like posted like last week in the Peacekeeper Corps. He's like, so I'm not going to be on the show next week because reasons. And would someone want to fill in for me? And Chad was like, hey, I'll do it. And here we are. So that's another like things like we may just up and ask you to be on the show if you're a patron. Like that's the thing. That's what you get for your money. All right. But on top of that, you also get top billing on top fives. And sometimes you get only billing because sometimes we only have time for just one of just a few lists. So we'll include ours in just a minute. But real quick, I just want to read off the few that we got. First off, it's from our producer, Sean Giroux. And he says, I guess in no particular order, Sean, The Dark Knight, the Joker, it's just Joker. The Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins, and Superman Returns.
I have a couple of questions on this list. Batman, Dark Knight Rises. It was actually not Dark Knight Returns because Dark Knight Returns is a comic, and the Dark Knight Returns comic is so great. But Dark Knight Rises, why? And Superman Returns, because those are like the two least popular ones of the two. And I know he's not really behind the scenes right now. So
yeah, he's not here to defend himself. So we'll maybe we'll get his take eventually.
Yeah,
but that is an interesting list. Now, I'm surprised to see Superman Returns up there too because with that movie's history. But I mean, I like it. I enjoy it for what it is. But like, I get why it's not favored.
I believe that was my first Superman movie, like a live action movie I watched.
Okay,
I got it from the library. And I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I mean, I like Brandon Routh. He's super good as a Superman.
Yeah, he's great. Like, I think for like stepping into the shoes literally of Christopher Reeve, he was perfect.
They were getting that. They were trying to get that Christopher Reeves feel. And that's where like Man of Steel kind of differed. And that's why a lot of people don't like Man of Steel because it differed a little too much, apparently.
Right. Whereas they were like trying to nail it. And I think part of the reason people don't like Superman Returns is like it's trying too hard to be like a 1970s like Superman movie that's like a slow burn. It's not all action and whatever. Like the number one critic, it's boring. Like, I get it, but at the same time, whatever.
It's been a minute since I've watched that one, so I might have to go through and rewatch it, see how it is.
Yeah. That there's some moments in like the plane crash scene is like top tier Superman moments. Like it's great.
Yeah.
So okay, up next we've got Jesse Bennett, also one of our patrons. He says, after careful thought, this is what I came up with. He says, number 5, Justice League War. Number 4, Batman 1989. Number 3, Justice League Doom. Number 2, The Snyder Cut. And number 1, Justice League Flashpoint Paradox. So he threw in some interesting animated choices in there, which I applaud.
The animated choices, like as a DC animated fan, love them. Great choices. Flashpoint Paradox is definitely one of my go-to like animated movies. Justice League Doom. If I was making like I made the joke to him earlier, like if I was doing this list, I just personally on my list, I just did the live action one. But if I did the animated ones, my list would have been just full of live animated movies because I was like, oh yeah, I thought Superman Red Son. Oh, give me Russian Batman. Batman by Gaslight. I was like, oh, that is just a great movie. And I was like, Justice League Doom. I love that one. The Infinite on Crisis, Crisis on Infinite Earths, or whatever it was. I think that's when it was. Can't remember.
Yeah.
It was the one with the Syndicate, and I was like, oh, that one's a really great one. And then it had like Owlman, and he was trying to blow up the universe. So great. And then I was like, oh yeah, I could just. And then Dark Knight Returns, like part 1 and 2, best one ever. Like one of the best. And I was like, oh, that would have been my list. That literally would have been my list. And I was like, oh, I gotta throw some. I should probably just do live action movies because then I'll have a list of movies that people might have watched.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah. And I need to catch up on the animes. I've always heard like great things about the anime.
I haven't seen any of the newer. The newest one I saw was Superman Man of Tomorrow, and that one because it was on what's it called?
Okay.
HBO Max. That's what it was.
Okay.
It's on-
Yeah. I see. I have HBO. I have access to HBO Max, so I might need to check some out and see which
Hop on
ones are on there.
HBO Max. They have most of them. I don't think they have a lot of the newer ones, but they have like all the old ones, all the great DC like animated TV shows too, like Teen Titans, Young Justice, the Batman animated series. Love them. I will watch them all. But you want to hit Joey?
Cool. Yeah, Joey has he says I'm sorry, there's a bit of lag here. Joey says, okay, but Zack Arnold is going to hate me when he finds out about this. Okay, I don't know what he's talking about, but here we go. Number 5, Aquaman. Number 4, Wonder Woman. Number 3, Batman 1989. Number 2, Batman Forever. I think we all take issue with that. I think we're all going to be mad at you now, Joey.
At least it wasn't Batman and Robin. he chose the better one, I guess.
And he finishes strong. He finishes with Batman Begins.
He does.
Batman. I was talking before the show. I really like Batman Begins. I think it's great.
It's a great one. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like it.
solid,
I like it.
solid,
I like it. I like it. Batman Forever. Don't see that in the list, but it's
you don't.
great.
Okay, full disclosure here. I have not seen any of the Schumacher or any of those. So we might have to do them on the show eventually.
I would join you.
Like, because the thing we do where I watch a movie for the first time and then we react. we'll have to talk about that behind the scenes.
I think I've seen Batman Forever like twice, and then I've seen Batman and Robin multiple times because it was like at my local library growing up, and I was just kept getting it because it was the only Batman movie there until like Batman Begins came out, and then I got Batman Begins.
I just know bat nipples. That's all I know. All right, so I'm going in completely blind.
I find it funny because it is like it's an ironic movie, so it's a parody.
I've heard it's like it's ridiculous, it's supposed to be ridiculous. So I can accept that. So we'll see. And real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Joey Mays and Jesse Bennett for their support for the show. They are at the shout out friend tier. And anyone at or above that gets a shout out on every single episode. And then all of you get, except just depending on your level, you get access to a bunch of different things. If you're in the Peacekeeper Corps, which I think everyone has access to, you get access to the show notes. You get top billing on top five segments. You even get to be with us on the show like Chad's doing right now, and then also many other things. And we're all the time trying to think of like new things for you guys to have and do new things and give you new bonuses. So yeah, definitely go visit us at patreon.com/IPC podcast to check us out, support the show, and literally keeps the lights on here because we couldn't do this without you. Like you're doing what you're doing. And so we can do what we do. So thank you so much to Joey and Jesse. And we're going to round it back with our lists and me and Chad. And real quick, actually, Zack Arnold.
Do Zach's list first?
Yeah, let's run through Zach's really quick. So he sent us a list that says number 5, Wonder Woman. Number 4, The Snyder Cut. Number 3, Joker. Number 2, and I keep forgetting this is a DC movie, V for Vendetta. And number 1, surprise, surprise, The Dark Knight.
It's a good list. I've seen V for like once or twice. It's been so long. I haven't seen a lot of like the niche like DC movies a lot. I've seen a lot of like the main characters, but haven't seen a lot of like the niche ones. So that's an interesting one.
Right.
It's a pretty good list.
It's a very good list. Very, very solid list, Zach. Thank you so much for sending that in. And we miss you, buddy. I guess now is perfect time to jump through and kind of run through our list really quick. Chad, don't you lead it off with your number 5.
All right. Number 5 is The Dark Knight.
There you go.
It is a classic. I mean, what more can people say of this movie? It is one of the best movies. I remember like watching it with, or first watching it with one of my older brothers, and they were like, "Oh, dude, this movie's kind of scary. Joker's scary." And I was like, watches it, and I was like, "This is the best movie I've seen in my life." And I was like, what, like 10, like 15 years old when that movie came out, maybe.
Oh
So
gosh.
it's just so good. It's a classic.
It's
love
one that I will just every once in a while just put in and go like, man, this movie is so good.
The opening of that movie is one of my favorite scenes. Like, just you're panning in onto this building, and then you just see the window blow up, and then you got this like heist, and you're like, oh, they don't know who they're working for. They're talking about their thing, and then by the time it gets there, you're like, Joker, and you're like, oh man, what? Didn't expect that. It's so good. It's definitely a classic.
Oh yeah, it's literally one of the best movies ever, in my humble opinion. So, great choice. You might see that one again, maybe. I don't know. There's a certain. I think the way I'm talking, you might see it again. Okay, but it's not my number 5. Number 5 is Wonder Woman.
Ooh.
And I recently went back and watched, because we were just going through DC movies and Justice League out, and got me thinking about all this stuff. And it's a really fun movie. And I get people's like criticisms of like, oh, it's really great, and then like the ending. I don't even have a problem with the ending. Like, I think it ends really strong. I do like the end battle. You know, maybe it could have been better or whatever, but like, I think overall it's like one of the strongest of all of the new DC movies. And it's just, you know, that character and thing. I wasn't a hugest fan of 1984, but I did love that it kind of take off from that original movie and brought back, you know, Chris Pine, who I loved, and, you know, setting into World War One. It's just, it's an all around, just a wonderful, goofy, and there's some Donner deep cuts in there, and it's very, you know, old school. It's very different from like the dark brooding of like the Justice League and the Snyder stuff, which, like, hey, you like that, that's fine, but I think the whimsy of like Wonder Woman, I think, is really incredible.
I'm gonna agree everything what you said, because that is my number 4.
Yes, we're right. We're almost in sync.
I love that movie. I love just every time you hear her theme. Once her theme hits, like when she's crossing the trench, is like literally goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps just like talking about it right now. Like, it just, like, looking back, that is one of my favorite scenes, like, in any movie. It's just like so cool that she's just like so badass, just like walking across and just like knocking mortars with her shield and like blocking things with her armbands, and just when she goes through the city with them and just knocks them all out. So such a great movie. I agree everything. Seeing Themyscira for like the first time in live action, it's exactly what like the comics and animated movies made it be like. It's just all around great movie. And like
we like
said,
this movie.
Yeah, like you said, I didn't have a problem with the ending at all. That really,
I think it's really strong. I think it's really strong. Okay, so my number 4, because we're just going right for it, is another one that we recently revisited in IPC, and it's one that I think upon further review, like, I really enjoyed, and it's Man of Steel. And I think I'm not, like I've said many times, I'm not a huge Zack Snyder fan. I'm not a big fan of BVS. Like, I think there's some good ideas in that movie, but I'm like, so yeah, spoiler alert, it's not on my list. And, you know, there's a few other ones, but like Man of Steel is like, yes, it's corny at times. It does have there's a few things that kind of off-putting, but overall, it's a really solid movie. I think it's a great Superman movie, and it's trying something different. And I think coming after the Donner films and trying to reboot it with Superman Returns, I think they were trying to do something different, and they handed it to to Zack Snyder, who, you know, love him or hate him, he has this incredible visual style that I think was befitting of the character. I think, you know, it's interesting, and seeing that kind of come to fruition and stuff. Some of my favorite moments in Justice League are like callbacks to Man of Steel. So that's definitely going to be on my number 4. I love it.
Man of Steel is just off my list, and I love this movie. All these movies are like I love this movie, but I can't like Birds of Prey. Not it's Birds of
Almost.
Prey. Not, it was like if we did like top 20, be like number 6. But no, like I said, I love Man of Steel. Man of Steel was one of the is the reason why I love Superman or I like Superman.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just so good.
So what's your number 3?
My number 3. Let me switch my list here so I remember. Just a little movie called Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Ho.
If I can. Yeah. You'll find out why I like it. So today.
Yeah, I think we're gonna
we'll
talk about that at some
off.
point, maybe.
Yeah, we'll pause on this one. You'll find out. People are saying it. Toronto Freddy's saying, Chad, it's like one of the best movies, one of the best ones, and it's so good. So, well, you'll hear my thoughts.
Yeah.
There's things that I love about it, and there's one thing that I really don't like, and you'll learn about it.
All
And
right,
it's the only thing I don't like about it, but the rest of the movie I love. So
cool.
I'm just gonna put that out there.
I'm very intrigued. I'm very, very intrigued. All right, so my number 3 is one that actually you just mentioned. It's not Zack Snyder's Justice League. It is Birds of Prey.
Ooh.
I know. I know. I think opinions were kind of mixed on this one, but I really enjoyed this one. I really liked it. I think Margot Robbie is incredible as Harley Quinn, and I think some of the best choreographed action I've ever seen in a movie is in that movie. I still say the whole car chase at the end where she's on roller skates and she's skating around the car is perfection. And there's a lot of other great stuff in there too. And I think it's just it's just kind of this bombastic, they're going all out on an R rating. And there's some shocking moments. I'm like, whoa, okay, he just broke that guy's legs. Okay. It's a real fun movie, and it's one that I need to revisit because I remember really, really enjoying it in the theater. And it's my number 3.
I did just revisit that one a month ago, and I was like, oh, this is so good. I didn't watch it in theaters. It was one of those when it first was announced, I was like, not really feeling this one. It just kind of feels like a rehash of they're trying to redo what they messed up in Suicide Squad, and I was like, I wasn't really feeling it. And then when I bought it, and when I bought it, I wasn't still feeling it. And then I was like, I haven't seen this movie. I should probably watch this. I own it. I should probably watch it. So I put it in, and I was like, oh, this is such a great movie. I'm an idiot. Why did I not say this was a good movie? What am I doing with my life? It is a great movie. I did really enjoy it.
Yeah. Great. So go right along with your number 2 then, sir.
My number 2, Aquaman.
Oh, yes.
I love this movie. I love Aquaman. It is my go-to comfort superhero movie. I have to say, if I'm just I just kind of want to watch Aquaman because it's so beautiful. It makes you really feel like you're underwater. It's just oh man, the shots when Aquaman and Mira is kissing, and it's just all the explosions around them, and it's just so beautiful. And a comic accurate suit for Aquaman. Come on.
Oh yeah,
they gave him the orange. They gave him the orange and green. Let's go.
It really, that movie surprised the heck out of me. It was not really on my radar. Aquaman for years and years has been the butt of so many jokes. You're oh, Aquaman movie? What is this? And
exactly.
They did it, and it's spectacular. It's so insane, the visuals and everything and what happens. But then it's man, that was just a thrill ride and a half, and it was so fun, and it made me cry. It did all those things that I did not expect. So yeah, I totally hear where you're coming from, and surprisingly, it's not on my list, even though I think it's because I forgot about it for a split second while making my list. Because it would be probably number 6 for me, probably.
I have a few more points on that movie. I made fun of in high school. I made fun of a guy who was wearing an Aquaman shirt, and I was like, "Why do you wear an Aquaman shirt? All he does is talk to fish. Aquaman sucks." And I was a Batman. I'm a Batman kid. I don't know if you can tell. I like Batman. a bit.
Yeah.
I was a Batman kid, and I was like, Batman's the best. You know, he doesn't have any powers. He just beats up people all the time. And then I watched that movie, and I was like, first of all, I love Jason Momoa, and like, second of all, I was like, this is like a gorgeous movie. Like, I love this. Also, Tamora Morrison's in it.
Tim
and,
Morrison, he's incredible.
Boba Fett or Jango technically first, but still,
Right. Oh yeah, it's
great movie. Love it.
It's so fun. It's so much fun. So much fun. I gotta watch that one again too. I'm getting all these movies. I gotta go rewatch after this, and then I still have to watch the last 2 hours of Justice League still because that's on my mind, and also research. But is it? I think it's my number 2 now, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So my number 2 is, like I said, it might have been Aquaman. It might have been several others, but I really had to give it to this one because, as I said, it's great. The Dark Knight. It's just that good. And you're probably wondering, well, what's number 1? Well, you'll find out in a second. And it would have been number 1 if it hadn't been for this other movie. But it's just, I mean, it's a perfect film. And I don't like to use perfect. Like, no movie's really perfect. But this one's darn close. And just it's just masterful. Like, it's such a incredible experience, and it's so, it's so creepy, it's so thrilling. There's so many things, and like it's really just a culmination of like taking the comic book genre to a whole new level, I think. And just like the Donner films, especially that, Superman the movie kind of added legitimacy to it. I think that was in a time where like maybe comic movies were kind of going off the rails. It was before the MCU, or at least the MCU was kind of just starting out at that point. I think it added more credibility. Like, okay, these films, yes, they can be ridiculous, but they can also be very serious and very relatable and very just, hardcore drama. I think that's what Dark Knight brings is so much. Yeah,
agreed with everything you said. Yeah, I love The Dark Knight, but I love 4 other movies more than I love The Dark Knight.
I'm like, I was having trouble like remembering all the movies. Like, I'm trying to like, I'm googling like all the DC movies, and I'm like getting a certain amounts, and I'm like, okay, I got Dark Knight in there, but this movie and this movie. Like, if I had like spent more time, because I rarely I always make my list while I'm on the show. Because if you see me doing this, I'm making my list. All right. That's me. That's me not paying attention and not planning ahead, because that's me. Just ask Zach. He's got like it all planned out, and you were like super enthused and like had it planned out. I don't. I go in flying my seat in my pants. But I think we got our number 1s up next. I think, Chad, you are up next.
I am. And my number 1 is a movie you said you don't like, Ben. For reasons, Batman v Superman.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
I mean, okay, I have a poster of Batman right behind me.
Yes.
From that movie.
Fair enough. Should have seen that one coming from a mile away.
Should have. Yeah, I love this movie. It's one of my favorites. Go back to it, dude. I was bawling in the theaters when Superman died. Spoiler: Superman died in the movie.
Superman dies.
When he died, I was bawling. Like, I remember just sitting there, like, anticipating it, because, like I said, I loved Man of Steel, and I was like, I need a sequel to this. And instead of giving me another Superman movie, they gave me one with my favorite superhero in it. Plus, like, Ben Affleck as Batman. It's pretty awesome.
This movie was pretty much made for you.
It was made for DC fans like me. Just like, I mean, the whole him going when Batman like did that whole scene where like we actually like saw him beat up like people. That was just like, I was like, this is straight out of an Arkham game, man. Like, what is this? I love this. Give me more, please, and thank you. It's so good. I love it. Batman fighting yes, I understand why people hate it because of the Martha scene, but like when you think about it, the Martha scene was pretty important. I wrote something up about it one time, but I can't find it right now. Like, of my explanation of it, but
I think
it's an important scene. Oh wait, now I remember. So in the Martha scene, and why people hate it is because, well, they both mothers share the same name. Yes, they do. But if you think about it, in the beginning of the film, what's the last words that Thomas Wayne says? Martha. And Batman's about to murder Superman, and he's like, you're like a menace. You're gonna like destroy the world. And he hears Martha, and he's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And then like when he finds out that it's like his mother, he's like, dude, this guy's got a family. Like he's got a mom. I don't have a family anymore. All my family is dead. And it's just like, oh, when you you have to like think about it deeply. Like on this screen, you don't get this, but like once you like analyze it and you think about it, like this is like, it's a meaningful scene. Like, and I explained it terribly, but it is such a, it is such a great scene.
It's just, it's very easy to make fun of. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that it's just low hanging fruit for all of us memers. But I'll be the first to say, like, I don't hate BVS. I really don't. Like, there's a lot of stuff. I've seen it a couple times now. Like, there's some really fantastic ideas, some really fantastic moments in the movie. Like, yes, I think it's a mixed bag overall for me, because there's a lot of things in there I do not care for. But overall, like, it's a fun movie. It's got so many amazing moments, and obviously couple that with like the amazing like visuals of Zack Snyder and just like the mythic storytelling that he all does. Like it's an epic movie. And I think if we're being fair, if we're being honest, the reaction to BVS was completely overblown. Like it was never like it was like the Last Jedi of DC movies, or like superhero movies. Like it was never as bad as everyone made it out to be, but also maybe it wasn't as great as people thought it was either. I don't know.
I feel like people thought it was like going to be a Marvel movie, and then the same thing with the first Justice League movie, is that they wanted to make it like a Marvel movie, but they just wanted, people were expecting like, oh, okay, this is going to be like one of the Marvel movies, right? But it's not. It's, first of all, it's a Zack Snyder movie. It's going to be a lot deeper than you actually think it is going to be. But it's just like, oh, okay, well, no, it's actually a great movie. It's one of the, it's my favorite. I know people in the comments, some people in the comments looking at you, Steven, say don't like it. but you know, I respect it.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, if you don't like it, then you don't like it. And if I like it, I loved it. I was talking to your good buddy Chris one time, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't like it." And I was like, "We gonna have this talk, Chris?" Well, that's the best movie. No, we didn't have the talk.
I'm really gonna have to explain this to you.
Am I gonna have to explain why it's the best movie? Let me write a novel.
So here's why you're wrong.
Okay.
Here's how you're wrong.
Here's exactly why. Here is why you're wrong. I mean, we got the first appearance of Wonder Woman live action in that movie. Come on. In the modern age, because can't forget about I forgot her name now.
Diana.
70s Wonder Woman. 70. Who played Wonder Woman in the 70s?
Yeah, what's her name? Oh,
I can't remember her name. Chad, help me out.
Come on, somebody knows the names.
I don't remember. She was in Supergirl.
Yeah, she's the president of Supergirl. She shows up at the end.
I only watched the second season.
Linda Carter.
Thank God. Wow. Thank you, people. I have a terrible memory. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. First movie appearance of Wonder Woman. Such a great movie. Love it. I will rewatch this movie in a heartbeat. I'll rewatch it right now.
You know what? I might have to rewatch it again just to convince myself that of your opinion. Okay, so my number one might be surprising. I don't know. It might not be. I feel like I've done this top 5 before, maybe, and I pretty much stand by this idea. And this is going to be an incredible segue. And I did not plan it this way, but it happens. So my number one is Zack Snyder's Justice League, and let's just go ahead and jump, because we're in it, and like I've said it before, I couldn't care less about this movie going into it. I really liked it. I don't think it can be overstated, like how much I was like, meh, they're re-releasing Justice League. Oh, the Snyder cut, it's going to be just as bad as the original cut. Like, that was my opinion.
I was the opposite. I was like, let's go, give me the real Justice League. I'm not one of them people on the internets that are like, hey, release this, restore the Snyderverse. I'm not one of them people. Or like, release the Snyder cut. I was like, they're never gonna release this movie. I was like, they're never gonna give this to us. And if they do, they're gonna regret giving it to us. I bet you they're probably regretting that they gave it to us. But you know what? They're making a lot of money from it, so they got a lot of subscribers for it. So they're like, yeah, well, they got a lot of money for this movie.
Yeah. But I'm not a big DC fan. I've watched the movies. I like the movies. I'm not super into it. I think it totally makes sense that like you love Babies. Yes, you were totally in on thing because you're a massive DC fan. If I felt that way, I would probably. I mean, I care about things in Star Wars that no one else cares about because I'm a massive Star Wars fan. You know how that is.
Yeah, me too. Can I just address to Alex? Watchmen is a great movie, and it would have been in like. I don't know. It was such a great movie, but out of my top 5, I don't see it replacing any of mine.
I thought that's DC too. Yeah,
it is, and I love it. And I don't see it replacing. Yeah, and I don't. None of my top 5. I don't think you could replace it. I mean, it was in my honorable mentions. I have like a list of honorable mentions, but it's in my honorable mentions. But I don't. I love it. Not replacing anything in top 5. Sorry, Alex.
No
great
problem.
movie though.
Yeah. But getting back to Justice League, like Justice League, just like I was like I wasn't even gonna watch it. Like I was just like, whatever. But like Zach's like, oh yeah, here's my login from HBO Max. I'm like, okay, all right. I'm not gonna pay money, but if you'll give it to me for free, I'll watch it. And then I proceed to get sucked into this movie because I'm like, oh, it's 4 hours. It's gonna be square. Like, come on, they're making this deal worse. Like, I didn't care about this to begin with. I definitely don't want to watch it. And then I get into it, and like everyone talking about, oh, the beginning's slow, but it gets better. Like, I was intrigued from the get go. I think that these first 3 chapters, yes, they are slow, relatively speaking, but I think they're extremely well paced. I think that there is a good amount of like, yes, there's things that could have easily been cut, but it's style. It's Zack Snyder just going all out and going, we're just going to throw everything in. And yes, we're going to have half of it be slow-mo, like extreme slow-mo, and we're going to love it. And it looks incredible. And you can't really argue with the man. And yeah, would I love to see like a shorter version of this movie? Would I love to see like the theatrical version that was going to be released back in 2017? Yeah, of course. But ultimately, I appreciate that like Zack Snyder basically got to do what he wanted to do and create the movie that he wanted to create. I think this movie is a near masterpiece, and it is a masterclass in filmmaking. I think it's up there as one of, just an incredible experience. And I never thought I'd say that. I never thought I'd come out going like, oh, that was incredible. Like, I never thought I'd say that it was one of my favorite DC movies, but here we are. So I really, really loved it. I've kind of talked at length. I'm probably on other podcasts, but I think at this one too, that I was thinking. But I invited you on, Chad. We want to get your take on this. So what was like your process for Justice League? What was your first impressions, and what are your overall thoughts?
So like I was telling Ben, like prior to this, like when this movie, the release date, when it came out, I was like, I gotta watch this movie. So I put my phone on silent, like I logged out of all my social medias. When I sat down and watched the movie, I put my phone on like do not disturb. It was sitting across the room, and I was like, I'm watching this movie, no distractions. Watched it all the way through, and I was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen. I love it, but it, like overall thinking about it, compared to my top 5, it's not one that I go back to. So that's why, like, this is the second viewing that I've had of it, and I'm like, I kind of want to watch it again. but it's like it's a 4-hour movie, and I watched Lord of the Rings for fun, and those are longer. but I love it. It was a great movie. I was anticipating this thing since 2017. This was the Justice League movie that I expected to go in and watch when I went into the theaters, and I was one of those people that was like, this movie sucks. Like, this is not what I expected. Come on.
Yeah. It was like I said that like the first Justice League is just like, it's not, I don't think the first Justice League is like that terrible. It's just, there's nothing to it. It's just like you're watching it like, I felt nothing. Like there was nothing in that. And like you look at like, okay, Justice League, this is the first ever Justice League movie. This is the culmination of, what they've been building up over the years. This is, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, all these characters coming together. This should be incredible. This should be like the Avengers, but probably even bigger. And then you get to it, and it's just like, what is this? And I think, yeah. But like this version totally like it delivers. It delivers on the epicness. It delivers on the mythology and the, everything about that you expect. And I think it's one of the best superhero movies ever made. Yeah. I genuinely say that. I think it's incredible. And, we'll try to get into a little more specifics because we're only just kind of talking about the first 3 chapters here. Yeah. And a lot of it is set up, but there's a lot of good stuff that happens in there. And there's stuff that like you instantly get the idea of like, okay, this is a completely different movie, but also kind of the same as like it's following the same beats, but it's like every scene is like improved by the editing, the special effects, down to, like everything, like, like even the whole like thing that they're going into and it's overall, it's just a massive experience. Like, you watch the whole the Themyscira chase, like it's like so much better.
Yeah, it definitely, like, you feel in the first version, I was not connected to any of the characters, even the characters that we like seen and were supposed to be connected to, like for when we were introduced in Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, and I was like, I'm not connected to these characters. And then once this one, you get like connected to Aquaman, you get connected, like even like obviously Aquaman came out before this version, and like we had two more Wonder Woman movies, and then you're like, oh yeah, you're getting connected to these other characters, and then like the 2 characters that you've only seen in the first Justice League, like Cyborg is so much better in this version. I love him in this version of the movie. I mean, same thing.
He is, yeah, both of those characters. And especially like Cyborg, like I was so impressed and, with how they made his story, because like that is the crux of like, like trying to do the opposite of Marvel. Marvel is like, okay, we're going to introduce this character and then we're going to bring them into a team up movie. Justice League was like, we're throwing all that away. We're going to introduce all our characters in the Justice League movie. We're going to set them up a little bit, but like you're meeting Aquaman for the first time. You're meeting Cyborg for the first time. And that's a tall order to create a character, introduce them, and make you care about them in a short span of time. And they do it with Cyborg, like, and very quickly. And like, just like his whole, not just like giving him backstory and developing and making all that stuff from the first movie with his father make sense in regards to like why they hate each other and, all this kind of stuff, but also like his power set, like this guy is like extremely powerful, like how he can hack stuff and all this kind of stuff. It's incredible. And something that I am not a big DC fan. I didn't know the extent of his powers. So like that was fascinating for me to like learn, like, wow, Cyborg is like a really cool character, like a character that I wasn't even aware of really. And now I'm like, oh, he's one of my favorite characters because he's so deep and so interesting. Yeah. And this movie makes you go back and watch the movies, like, my God, like they just robbed him. They robbed Ray Fisher and they robbed that character just doing what they did with the first movie.
don't blame Ray for being so upset at all.
I feel so bad for him now
Yeah.
because I know it's going to affect his career. I know he's probably not going to come back as Cyborg because he was like firing towards the top, trying to get all this stuff fixed, and he probably sacrificed a lot. I just massive respect for him for like sacrificing so much to like try to get this out, not just for the Justice League, but like trying to root out some really bad apples within Warner Brothers. And massive respect for him, but I really hope he can come back as this character. I think he was great,
and so good. It's great casting. Like my experience with Cyborg was like seeing him a couple of times in like some animated movies. He showed up and the Teen Titans TV show, and that was about it. Like he was kind of like this joke kind of character, especially in Teen Titans. He was this joke kind of character. I wasn't expecting a whole lot from him, and then watching this one, I was like, oh man, he's like super cool. Like what? Dude's like one of the most powerful people in the universe and on planet Earth at least, and he's so good. Do you want to start breaking down the chapters? Or
sure, we can get into the chapters. You want to start with? I guess we'll start with chapter 1. I since I've only seen it twice, it's hard for me to get it straight in my head what happens. But like, it is like I like where it starts. I like kind of it fades over into BVS, and you're kind of like getting like the fallout of that, and like starting this out with the death of Superman, and letting you know like the gravity of the situation. Right? Okay, the reason this is happening is because Superman has been taken out of the picture, and that the reason that they're attacking is because Superman's not around to protect him. And I think that was a fascinating concept that was executed really well and added a lot more to the plot, which, and again, was not there in the original.
Yeah. I said pretty much the same. Like I love the continuation of Batman versus Superman. You see Superman's death from different perspectives, and even just like rewatching this, like I watched Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and then I watched this like the days leading up to Justice League's release, and like even just like because I was like I just saw Batman versus Superman yesterday, I'm crying again seeing Superman's death, and we just got the ending part of it. Like, oh man, the feels are hitting me hard. But yeah, it's just great. And then you just see like what happened when Superman goes away.
Yeah. And then I really love like, and again, I don't want to keep comparing it to the Frank, but like the whole Wonder Woman fight scene at the beginning where she's introduced in London, like that's just top tier incredible. And like it's pretty good in the original, but like they really lay it on, and I it's really long. Like they go all out, it's all in there. I don't think they cut out a single frame from the original edit, but it's an incredible fight scene, and just adds more to Diana's character. I love Wonder Woman. I love that character, and like showing her kind of normal life in the current timeline is great. Are we lagging? Oopsie. Did it lose me or did it lose Chad? Who's on?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Oh, nope. That was. I think that was me. Oop.
I think
we good?
we're good
You're
now.
back?
I hope.
Okay.
I was just talking about the Wonder Woman scene.
Yeah. I heard that part, and then like right after you just stopped, and I was about to like put in what I had said for that scene, and it just kind of like froze, and I was like, I'll stop, pause for a second here, and then it buffered for me. We're all good now though. But that scene between Wonder Woman and the girl, where like at the end of that, like she's done, and then she's like, hey, "Are you okay, princess?" And she's like, "Can I be like you?" And then you're just like, so, come on.
It's
It
not.
was a good scene. I love that scene. It was pretty great introduction of a reintroduction of Wonder Woman and how like powerful she actually is and how fast she can move because there was like 30 seconds on the timer when she got into the room and then there was like 10 seconds left when she like jumped out of the ceiling. Like she's super powerful,
Right.
super fast, and she blocked all those bolts from that one dude. Which the actor looks so familiar, and I always forget his name. And I know I've seen him in so much stuff.
Yeah, I think you're right. I
I
love
know
the
I've seen
slow
that
mo
actor.
shot.
Mm.
I love the slow mo shots where like you see her off in the background and like you see the bullets coming at the people, and she just like slides across and just blocks them, and just like it's just a perfect use of her powers, and then she freaking blows the building up, and it's like, wow, this is it's great, and also kind of like I like the scene because it kind of sets the tone for like the whole feeling of like Superman's gone and maybe they're kind of in a state of mourning, but also kind of crazy stuff's happening because these terrorists think, well, Superman's not here to stop us, so we can do stuff like that. But Wonder Woman's still around, and there is stuff coming. But like it's a great kind of a great tone setter for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, that was such a great scene.
Yeah,
and then it goes the Amazons, and just that scene was just so awesome. Just that whole battle scene, it's just showing how badass the Amazons are. Amazonians?
Amazonians.
I think it's just Amazons.
I don't know.
I have Amazonians.
The standout for me in this scene is Steppenwolf, and I love
exactly.
Going back to like the original movie. Like Steppenwolf was just like this gray monster guy, and like in this movie he like has really interesting like unique design. You get his motivations, you understand where he's going through, and then he just goes complete savage, like he's throwing horses and all this kind of stuff. It's crazy and it's incredible. Like they outdid themselves with that act sequence, and like shows like not only the strength of the Amazons, which we're familiar with, but like showing like the Steppenwolf is just another level. He is a truly menacing villain.
Yeah, I've always wondered like if the Amazons have like powers, because like they seem to be pretty powerful, but maybe they're just like great warriors, and like maybe they just have like minor like super strength. Like I know Diana is technically a god, or she's like a demigod, so like that makes sense, like why she have powers, why she can fly, why she can do like these other things. But I've always kind of like wondered, like, does like the regular Amazon have like a power? I mean, they're immortal pretty much. You never see anyone die of old age.
No.
But
no, it's it's kind of weird because like Wonder Woman is like on another level. Well, like even the regular Amazons are like would be considered superheroes because they never die, like you said, and like they have super strength and all this stuff. They can they can hold up these giant doors.
That scene is super cool. I love that. Just like I always forget her mother's name. It's super long. Hippolyta.
Yeah. Okay.
Hippolyta, like that slide that she does is just like, oh wow, that's so cool. And then she just stands up and walks away.
Yeah. And the whole just desperate mad dash with the mother box is just like they literally like they do everything they possibly can, and just nothing works.
Wolf is just like mowing them down, like throwing horses and slaughtering people. It's just like, oh my goodness, it's one of these movies, isn't it? So, yeah, that was great.
And it sets the tone for his character too. That like you're like, okay, this guy is not to be messed with, because like if the Amazons can't even handle him, then something's big about to happen.
Yeah, like if the Amazons can't beat up this guy, nobody can beat up this guy. Okay, there's supposed to be 7 of these guys that can beat him. All right, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and then I love when it gets into, I think it's maybe in chapter 2, the whole like huge battle scene where like Bruce and Diana are just talking, And they're like, oh yeah,
Oh,
whatever.
yes.
And then she's
Yes.
like, oh, long ago. And it just cuts into this like gigantic battle,
Yes.
like flashback thing
What-
that's
what-
like on par with like Lord of the Rings, like just
Mhm.
huge battles. And you got Green Lanterns in there and the Amazons and like it's just
and
incredible. And then you got Darkseid
Yeah,
coming up
you
and
got-
gives more backstory there. It's great.
the best villain of like all time, right next to Vader, Darkseid. I don't
Wow.
care who you are. This dude is like so cool. I was so excited once they showed that, like just a little clip of him like swinging his like mate thing or whatever that was, like his axe thing on the ground in the first trailer. And I was like, they're bringing in Darkseid in this movie. Like, you have no idea, Ben. I was not expecting Darkseid. I was like, I've seen the first one. It's just gonna be Steppenwolf, and I was like, Darkseid's in this movie? Let's go! I need this movie now. One of the best villains in the universe. So
That's crazy.
badass, just crazy killer, and I was just like, this is gonna be great. I love this. Yeah, that scene is back to that scene. That scene is just so great. Just like seeing like Zeus just like do the hand thing and just throw like lightning bolts and like Ares and Artemis like killing.
Like they
Like,
don't
damn it.
hold back
Yeah.
with any of that stuff. It's
No.
crazy.
No, and then just prior to that, I want to bring up the Jeremy Irons as Alfred. Love him as Alfred.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh, yes.
I-
I love him so much.
Just his like raw humor and just like his quick whips is just so funny. I loved
I
him.
love his thing about, I think he says like, man, well, like a man that hangs around in a cave, I guess, is not too good with people skills. Like that.
Yeah,
He's just like, he's done. Like all the time he's done with Bruce and his crap, but he still like 100% supports him.
yeah. There was a line in Batman vs Superman. I can't remember how it goes. It's been minutes since I've seen that movie. But where he's just like, hey, like when he takes over and like flies the plane for Batman, he's just like, I don't know, in your dreams, Alfred. As he takes a sip of scotch, I love him. It was so perfect. It's like this sarcastic kind of like to like Batman, to like Bruce Wayne's like seriousness, and he was just like, nah, I know, cool. And I have more good things to say about him. But you ready for what I don't like about this movie, Ben?
By all means, lay it on me.
The only thing, I love this movie, and my only problem is the Atlanteans.
Oh.
I do not like the Atlanteans in this movie. Wanna know why? Because Aquaman is my second favorite movie, and I love the Atlanteans in that movie.
It's very different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I don't like how they have to like make air bubbles to talk on water, and when they talk underwater, it's like fish talk. Like they talk like dolphins, and like it put me off. And then like how like a normal Atlantean can like breathe air, and I was like, this is stupid. And then Mira has like a British accent for some weird reason. I was like,
I was very
what is going
like,
on?
what is happening?
What
Like,
is going on? I love Aquaman. I will rewatch Aquaman any day of the week. But no, man. Okay. Freddie just corrected me. It was Euxaxis was his name, but that was his like first name, and then he became Darkseid.
okay.
Same person, Freddie. Okay, same guy. I
Get
was
technical,
correct.
nerd.
You nerd. We're both correct in our different ways.
Yeah.
But back to my rant about the Atlanteans.
It's very weird.
It was gonna be, if I wasn't like devoted to this movie, like if I wasn't like I gotta finish this movie, I would have probably turned it off, because I was like, no, the Atlanteans can't do this. Atlanteans can't breathe air like normal people. Get out of here. Only the royal Atlanteans can do that. They established that in the Aquaman movie. Come on, Zach. But I get it. This movie was technically recorded before that movie and all those concepts. No, I just did not like the Atlanteans in this movie.
Yeah, and see, I guess that's a compliment, because like I appreciate the fact that like they didn't like this is the continuity. Zack Snyder established this, and this is how it's gonna be. They were like, okay, James Wan, just do whatever you want. Like, you know, we'll just make it work. And they just, obviously established this, and the Atlantis in this movie feels very different from where it is in Aquaman. And you know what? That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I love what we get in Aquaman. I'm glad they just went off the rails. They did all this crazy stuff and made it work. Mm-hmm. And, Zack Snyder's a very stylized guy. He wants things certain ways. He has all these weird ideas. And let him do his thing. It's fine. It works. If it doesn't perfectly match up, that's fine too.
Yeah, no, only problem with this movie was just how the Atlanteans are. And I was just like, oh, come on. I love the Atlanteans. Come on.
Yeah, I also love that Steppenwolf goes to Themyscira, and there's this massive they're ready for him. When the boom tube comes down, there's 1,000 of them ready to pounce on him. They go to Atlantis. There's 3 dudes there, and then Mara's there, and then Aquaman shows up halfway through. And he just takes the box. There's they are not prepared at all. It's just and they got this giant pedestal. At least the humans buried it in the ground. What were you guys doing?
But at least the Atlanteans were guarding it compared to the humans. Were let's just dig a hole. Nobody will undig it.
Yeah, and then it ends up in somebody's closet. It's just in some dude's closet.
Just chilling in some dude's closet. He stole from the government.
And then he puts it in another hole, and then that's supposed to help.
Exactly. The humans could have at least put it on top of
God, Earthlings, man, could have done better than that.
Come on, think about it. The Amazons and the Atlanteans are let's guard this thing. This thing's pretty important. Humans, we'll just dig a hole here.
Whatever.
Some random woods. Nobody will dig it up.
Just put it 5 feet underground.
We'll just put it a foot underground.
In 10 years. Yeah, in 5 years it could get washed up, from the thing. But who cares? Whatever.
Nobody will find it.
Nah, no big deal.
Throw it down a deep cave or climb Mount Everest and put it on the top of Mount Everest or something like that. But no, you just gotta dig a hole.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm not even sure what's next. I'm trying to kind of look, but I love the interplay between, as we talked about, Cyborg and his kind of origin per se. Introducing him, introducing his family, introducing his mother, who was not even in the original movie.
Yeah.
And how, their relationship was, and how he didn't have a good relationship with his father, and just some great stuff. And introducing Cyborg as a character and kind of letting him have an arc to where he's totally crushed by this to he's willing to step up and help these guys, and ends up being a pivotal part of it. But his whole journey is great, and having him just the little moments about when he goes and he follows that lady, and he adds money to her bank account, it's really sweet.
Ben, can you hear me?
I think I can.
I don't know. My Wi-Fi says it's fully loaded. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, mine lies to me too, so I completely understand.
That's true, probably. I'll do it.
But okay, thoughts on Cyborg Origin?
Oh, I thought it was great. Kind of never really seen his origin before. There's a different versions. He has a different origin in Young Justice compared to that one. It was good. Give you kind of who Cyborg was before. Kind of give you who Victor was before he became Cyborg. And I kind of like how it was narrated by his father, kind of a thing. He's okay, I want to listen to the first part, I guess, of what he has to say. And then it was just great introduction. You got kind of
actor. I guess he's
I don't know.
Are we lagging again?
Yeah, I caught your voice halfway through there as I was talking. I don't know.
Sorry about that.
That's all good.
All I was going to add is the actor that plays his father is great. I think he's from he was in the original Terminator, I think, or Terminator 2, I think.
Terminator 2, I want to say.
Yeah, he's a great actor, and he has a lot of this movie, and has a pretty big arc himself, especially in the upcoming chapter. We can't talk about that yet. But so much other stuff to talk about. And I mean, the second half is arguably my favorite part of the movie. But can't talk about that right now.
Yeah.
But going into this, I just loved, and then the Flash bits.
Mm-hmm.
I think were really. I think he's a character that was kind of like, and obviously we're kind of all going into this like halfway familiar with, a lot more familiar with the Flash story than I would have been, thanks to the Flash TV show. But they kind of do it a little bit differently, and I like the effects. I think his whole like his power set and how he when he moves, he like explodes out of his shoes. Like there's a really interesting ideas. And yeah, it gets weird too. Okay, right? The hot dogs bit, it's weird. All right, I'm sorry, I can't let it go.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's a fun scene. I like his whole shtick in this movie.
Yeah, but also like Flash is just kind of a funny character though.
I legitimately like his funny parts.
Yeah, because he's just kind of like this like fast character, and like also he's so fast though. Like I want to say I remember hearing Zach like talk about Flash before even the first movie came out, was like that like when he moves, like his clothes, when he moves at super speed, his like normal people clothes like burst into flames and stuff, like blow up, because he's moving so fast because of the friction. That's why he has to wear a friction suit. Not like the Flash TV show doesn't do that, and kind of understand why, because they can't. But yeah, like he's got to move so fast. Like everything that like happens around him is moving so slow, because you gotta think this guy is like the fastest being in the on the world, on planet Earth. Like everything around him is like so slow. Like he can perceive things that are happening, like just a normal conversation for that man. I know at least in the comics, he mentioned like in a normal conversation with him is just like a slow drag. You don't get that a whole lot in movies because you can't really portray that. But like
right. And I like the whole idea of like if you're like moving that fast and you put your finger up to a pane of glass, like it wouldn't just break. Like I love that effect of him like putting his finger through it and it just like liquefies before it starts to shatter. Like such an incredible effect. And like the way they pull it off, and just like new ideas of like, because like the Flash TV show arguably does some really cool things with like his speed, but like it's not as obviously they don't have the budget like Zack Snyder does, but it's still taking that up to the next level, and him like just seeing everything in slow motion, like he is thing. And then you get later in the movie, it's like, oh yeah, this guy's really fast. Yeah,
like when he stops, he like breaks the ground because he's going too fast, and like when he's running, he's passing everybody. He's like, oh, excuse me, pardon me. Like even once he gets to Iris, he's just like, oh, I'm already here. She's not out of the car yet. Like
she can't even see him because he's just a blur, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it happens like that for a normal person. Like she's like one moment she's like flipping out of her car, the next moment she's in some random dude's hands, and then he just disappears. But it's just ridiculous. I like that. It was pretty good to see, and then continue on with more of the Flash stuff. Is like just major question is like, how do people not know who Bruce Wayne is?
I was thinking the same thing watching last night. I'm like, he's like, who are you? I'm like, wait a minute, isn't Bruce Wayne supposed to be like famous here? Like, isn't he supposed to be like Jeff Bezos or something? Like he's supposed to be like one of the richest people on earth. Like, surely you would know.
Surely people have to know at least who Bruce Wayne is. I mean, he's not like he runs like a multi-billion-dollar company and has like locations all over the world. But who's this guy? I don't know. I get it why the Icelandic fishermen didn't know who he was, because they're in the middle of nowhere. But like Barry Allen in Central City didn't know who Bruce Wayne was. Come on, Barry. I expected better.
Right. Yeah, I like because like and I like his whole hideout thing there, but also doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like he's living down by the railroad tracks. He's living like in a warehouse, and his whole thing like this his second favorite chair. All this kind of stuff.
How did he afford all that stuff, or did he just like steal it with his super speed? Like that's my question. I was like, how does he afford all this stuff? He's working like 4 jobs. He said, trying to get through school, like, and he's got this
like I
nice
like
secret lair.
Like.
Come on, Barry.
Yeah, I know we're crossing the streams here, but like I love X-Men Days of Future Past, where it's like, Pietro is just like he's just a thief. Like they can't catch him. Like he's got like boxes of like Twinkies and all that stuff in his house. Like he just steals stuff. Like he's just a delinquent, and they can't stop him. They can't prove that he's doing anything because he's so fast. I think there's a little more heroic. I think with Barry Allen, I would hope. He's studying to become a cop and all this kind of stuff. But it is very funny how they set that up.
Yeah, no, and then the I'm rich line, like in this version of the movie compared to the other version, is so different because it's the same line, same scene, set up, but it's just like oh, I'm rich, kind of like a thing compared to like I'm rich. Like
it's much better. It also has to do with like the music and the editing and stuff like that, and like the Whedon version, and I'm sure this was intentional. It played more like a Marvel movie, but not as good Marvel movie. It just was stale. It wasn't trying to be. This movie is like it's kind of self-aware. It is when you bring Flash in, it's a very dark movie, and then it kind of shifts the tone a little bit, and he's a very goofy character, but it still like keeps with it. But all the editing stuff like that goes with it. It doesn't feel like it's conflicting in a way. Yeah. So I feel like I think Zack is able to kind of balance things out really well.
Yeah, and this way.
And I do love is the fact that I love the Batarang sequence. Like Batman is, I love that. I love that Batman is so sure that it's him. He's willing to kill Barry Allen. He's going to throw this thing in his face. And if he's not the Flash, he'd be dead. It would be stuck in his eye. He would die.
I mean, you walk in I don't know. We don't know how long Bruce Wayne was chilling in there. He at least noticed the suit and was like, nobody that's a competitive ice dancer or whatever he said.
Very competitive ice dancing.
Very competitive ice dancer needs spaceship level suit. So, like he's like, yeah, this is the dude. Let me chuck this thing at his face real fast.
I just love
make sure
the small amount of chance that Bruce Wayne might have been wrong.
Could be wrong.
Would have been bended very differently for Barry Allen, poor Barry Allen. But thankfully it didn't turn out thing. I think we're kind of winding things down here. We are getting close on time here. So, but I do want to, I know Chad, you love this movie. We'd love to have you back to talk about more DC movies, but I know you took notes too. I don't usually take notes. I know you were like texting me yesterday, like I'm about to sit down, I'm going to take notes. So if there's is there anything else you want to just throw out there, like from your notes or whatever? Because I know you have a lot of thoughts, and I don't want to give you a chance to say them.
Yeah. What else do I have here? I like the scene where Alfred is like watching over Diana pouring tea, and he's just like showing her, like, no, you got to do that. Put the water in her, so you'll
I love it.
Tea. And then like she walks away, and then he still finishes pouring it for her, and he's like, here you go. It's like, oh, let me. Like, he's such a nice guy. So funny. So funny.
He's so awkward. Like, he's just so awkwardly like, I don't like you doing this. I wish I could just do this on my own.
He's like, you're doing it wrong. Don't do that. You're doing it wrong. Let me do it for you. I know how to do it. You're doing it wrong. Let me. That's so funny. I do like how we're not even on chapter 4 yet.
Jeremy is great.
Mm-hmm. I like how we're not even on like chapter 4 yet, and we haven't seen Batman compared to the other one where like you see him right off the top. I kind of like that.
Yeah, and that Batman scene from the original one is kind of weird.
Actually, that's the only scene that I liked in the entire movie because it was very Batman-like. But that was it.
You know what? I agree. I don't think it's bad. It kind of clashes with the rest of the movie because
it doesn't fit in.
Yeah, it's just different because it's a Joss Whedon scene. Like, it's not a bad scene necessarily, but it's like they're trying to take all the stuff that that Zack Snyder was doing and kind of condense it down into like one scene. Like, oh, there's something coming and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and it worked, but like not in that movie.
Yeah, no, it was a good Batman scene. That was literally the only scene I like in that entire movie, in that version, and majority of the film is the same scenes. Like, just edited a lot better. How did you feel about the aspect ratio? Because when I first saw it, it was kind of odd, and then I got used to it. Even going back to it, like, it was odd, and then I got used to it. Like, it's like, oh yeah, this is thinner.
Yeah, I at first, when I first heard about it and when I first turned it on, I'm like, oh, this is ridiculous. Like, Zack Snyder, what are you doing? But once you start watching it, and especially if it's on a bigger screen, like I got a chance to like watch it on my big screen TV last night, and like it looks good. It looks good. Honestly, it doesn't bother you. Your eyes adjust. Like, I get it. I'm used to watching, big with bars on the bottom and top. It's just a different thing. It's IMAX, and I think, Zack Snyder, you do you. If you want to make your movie in a box and do it, it's fine, and it looks good. It doesn't take me out of it. It's just a little bit getting used to.
Yeah, like, it definitely was like, oh, okay, we're doing this aspect ratio, but all right, okay,
right.
I'm used to it.
I love that they're like at the beginning, like, this is presented in such and such aspect ratio to preserve Zack Snyder's vision. I'm like, wait, what is happening? Like, they actually had to, like, Warner Brothers was like, okay, Zack, we'll let you do this, but we're gonna put a thing on the front of this to let people know that what they're about to watch is not what they're used to.
Yeah. Oh, did I put on the wrong movie? Like, did I put on an old time movie? Oh no, I didn't. I put on the right movie. Okay. Cool.
Dang, I got the full screen version, pan and scan. Jeez.
I know. I don't have the money, but I wanted to I still want to rent out like a movie theater and just watch this movie in a movie theater.
I would like. I'm looking forward to going back and seeing Black Widow in theaters this weekend. I love it. I'm looking to go back to the theater. But like, I would totally, because I probably wouldn't have gone to a theater, like 4 hours of theater night. But now that I've seen it, I'm like, I would love to see this on a like an IMAX screen. That would be amazing. Even
just like a standard movie theater, just with the sound and stuff like that. Just the 2 times I've watched it, I've worn headphones, and wearing headphones, like, I wear headphones when I watch The Bad Batch, and when I'm watching on my computer. You hear everything, but I just want to be in a theater and just like feel everything.
Right. It's just you can't replicate the theater experience. You can't. Like I love watching a movie in the dark on my phone with headphones. Like, it's fun, but it does not compare to a theater.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Planning on going to see Black Widow tomorrow during the day.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go day after tomorrow, I think. So we'll get.
If I can't fit it in on Saturday, I might just go in on Sunday and just be like, oh, we're gonna watch this movie. Haven't seen it. Could be my first movie back, and can't wait.
Wow. So. Great. Okay, so anything else in your notes before we move into final thoughts?
Still don't like this version of Mara.
I think I concur with you.
Yeah, just I know Freddie said he was okay. Where was it? He was okay with it, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, if you didn't have Aquaman to compare it to, maybe it would be okay. But like that, Aquaman, I'm like, I like that Mara. I don't like. Yeah,
I was like, I like that movie. It's so great. And then this version of Mira is like, oh, what? Also, Vulko too. Did not like this version of Vulko, but
he's a bit weird.
It was not expecting Willem Dafoe with long hair.
It's a bit different. It's a bit different tone. I like better. I love Willem Dafoe, and I love that whole thing. So, and he's great in Aquaman. He's a little. It's just different in this one because it came before, and it was different director, a different aspect, whatever. It's different.
But.
All right. I think what we'll do right now is I think we'll go ahead and discuss final thoughts and give our planet scores. Chad, by all means, if you want to lead us off, final thoughts, score out of 10
I mean,
on the
final
first
thoughts.
3 chapters of Justice League.
Again, first 3 chapters is a slow burn, but once you get over the hill, it is all downhill from here. The first 3 chapters, I give this a solid like 10 out of 10. I mean, overall, the movie's a 10 out of 10 for me. Loved it. It's a great movie. I can't wait until we get to watch the second half. It was a hard pause once I saw part 4 pop up, and I'm like, oh no, I gotta pause. But yeah, no, I can't wait. Love this movie. It's so good. Had so much fun just watching this for the first time. Just like zoning out and going in all four hours at once, and just like I didn't have a problem with like the breaks and the chapters, and I was just like, it is just beautiful. I don't care how long this movie is. I need 8 more hours of this movie, please and thank you. Again, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, totally fair. I want to agree with most everything you say there. Like I said, this movie, like going into it, I kept hearing like, oh, it's boring, it's slow, whatever. And yes, it is. And I get that. This movie's not going to be for everyone. I've said that more than once. Like it's not. If you're into like 2-hour movie and you want everything to be just brisk, go watch a J.J. Abrams movie. All right, you're not. Go watch The Rise of Skywalker if you want faster and more intense.
Yeah.
All right. But this movie is not that. It's a slow burn. It's a long one, and it takes its time, and I appreciate that. Even as someone who, as we've established, I have a very short attention span, I appreciate just the commitment to like, okay, we're doing this, and we don't care. We're doing this, and it's gonna be just these long shots and just random scenes of people walking down piers and drinking whiskey and throwing the bottle down and jumping in the sea. Like it's almost comically ridiculous at points, but also you're still enthralled with it.
Yeah.
And that scene where Aquaman swims out and the girl takes his sweater and sniffs it and then sings about him. It's a bit weird, all right? It's a bit weird. I will admit.
Super weird.
But
makes no sense.
I can't get enough of it though. Like it's so like okay, I'm vibing with this movie. I get it. I understand where they're going with this. I don't know what's going on, but I can get behind this because it's just like they don't care. Like, and that's the thing. You know, filmmakers are weird. Movies are weird sometimes. Some things you don't have to explain. But this movie, I think it's a great setup for what's to come. I think it takes its time. It does what I think, introduces the characters. This is your moment of like to care about, because yes, that final hour and a half, 2 hours is exhilarating in this movie. But you still need all this stuff to lead up to make us care about what's going to happen when Barry Allen does his thing in time travel, and you know what's going to happen.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. Sorry about that. For a 6-month-old movie. No, but you know, you care about it because we've seen all this stuff, because we've seen that scene in the jail with his father, like all this stuff. It's all leading up to it. And I think I love a movie that commits to stuff, that sets things up and pays them off. And this movie does a superb job with that. And so I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10 for my planned score. I'm only taking a point off for the hot dogs. All right. Only the hot dogs. All right. The rest of it is great. The Barry Allen and his fascination with hot dogs. I'm sorry. I had to draw the line there, but everything else is great.
I had a rant about how I hate the Atlanteans, and I gave it a 10. What is,
I just realized that.
I was like, I don't like the Atlanteans in this movie, but I love this movie.
I love that you have reasons to take points off, but you still don't. I love that.
No, it's so, honestly, like I didn't like it, but there's nothing I can do about it. I'm gonna move on. It's a great movie. I wish more people had your philosophy. I wish more people like
I don't like this, but like, what can I do about it? I don't like The Last Jedi, but there's nothing I can do about it. So whatever. Like, I wish more people on the internet would like just let
You know,
it
I try my best.
go.
But it's just a movie. You can't get those 4 hours back. But you know, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it.
Yeah, and it's
But,
on
yeah,
HBO Max. You can get a free trial. You literally just have to spend, and for crying out loud, watch the ending. Like, you don't have to, or just don't watch it. Like, nobody's forcing anyone to watch any of this content. Like, people are like, oh my God, I got to complain about this. Like, no, you just ignore it.
You don't
Like,
have
just
to.
go away. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to watch Star Wars. I'm sorry. I know everyone seems entitled and has to give their opinion, but you don't have to. All right. It's not by law. Okay, I'm losing it now because I'm talking about people on the internet and they make me crazy. Because I am one of those people and I am crazy. So anyway,
All good, Ben.
Anyway, before I completely lose it, I think we need to start wrapping this show up for the night because I think our producer may have fallen asleep. I'm not sure. But we're gonna have to wake him up so we can get off this thing because otherwise we'll be trapped here all night. No,
You'll just look at a blink at my room, I guess.
Yep. Okay, so
And maybe a cat.
all right. So let's see. We talked about Justice League. We did top fives. We pretty much covered everything we did. Well, we have one more thing to talk about, and we actually didn't do this last week, so I feel like obligated we need to do it this week. And I think Chad, you said that you weren't prepared for this, but I am.
No, I was
So let's go ahead and jump into it. So without further ado, get out your hashtags, put them in the chat, go everywhere on social media. It is time for Barbecue Watch.
Yay, Barbecue Watch.
Yay! I'm sorry. I'm just waking up our producer.
Oh, good. In my defense, I'm trying to save money, and I didn't really want to go out and eat. So, and I can't make barbecue myself. So, that is why I haven't had barbecue in a while. But I messaged some friends of mine, and apparently the best place in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis and St. Paul is a place called I forgot. 1 second. Firebox Deli, I want to say it was called.
Okay.
And the name sounded neat. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna go there at some point, I guess, and have that. So at some point, I'll have some BBQ. Maybe next stream I'll have some BBQ and report back. Maybe.
Cool. Well, okay, I have a real quick story here. There's a place. I don't know if it's actually. I know it's a chain, but I think it's locally based here in Mississippi. But it's a place called Mugshots. It's a burger chain. And anybody heard of Mugshots? I don't know. I don't know if anybody. I don't know how widespread they are, but I've grown to love them quite a bit. I do love a good burger. And I'm also live on the coast where there's a lot of seafood, stuff like that. And I always love crossing over things, especially crossing over seafood with barbecue, and maybe sometimes sometimes throwing a hamburger in there in the thing. So my usual that I get at this thing, I think it's called of course I didn't make any notes, so I completely forgot it. I think it's a burger that has barbecue sauce on it. It has bacon, has cheese, your normal stuff. And then on the side, you can just order whatever you want to put on your burger. You can just like order random things to put on your burger. So I got 4 grilled shrimp and put them on the burger. And this is my regular that I usually get. And I must say, it's incredible. All right. I didn't realize like putting seafood on a hamburger would be so good, especially mixing it with barbecue sauce. But this is darn good, and I highly, highly recommend it. It's just this mix of flavors like that. You know, I live on the coast. I've grown up with seafood and obviously eating a lot of burgers. So like mashing them all together is great. So if you get a chance to have a burger with barbecue sauce and shrimp on it, do it. It's incredible.
sounds interesting. I'll say that. Okay. Maybe next time I'm in Mississippi, whenever that's gonna be, I'll come down and visit and have to have that. So
I'll show you a good time with the burgers.
yeah, I see. Like I said in the chat when you messaged me yesterday, like, hey, for BBQ watch, and I was like, dude, man, I can't remember the last time I had barbecue.
Don't ask me that. I'm not prepared for that.
I don't know. Just League. That's what I know. Not barbecue. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you judge barbecue. I don't know. I don't even know if there's any good barbecue in the north.
Oh gosh. Okay. So I think that wraps up BBQ Watch. I might have to bring this up to Zach because I don't know if I've told him about this, and I'm curious to know his thoughts. I don't think he's a big seafood fan, so it'll gross him out. It'll be even more entertaining for you guys. So yeah, that should be awesome. Zach will be back next time. We will be talking about chapters 4, 5, and 6 of Justice League. We'll have potentially at least one other special guest. You know who you are. And it should be a lot of fun. And we've got more stuff. And we're kind of planning out our schedule now. And we're looking into what things. Loki's coming down the pipe. There's some other things, Bad Batches things. So we've got some interesting things coming down the pipe that I think you guys are really thinking. So, and if you're a patron, you already know what's coming. You know when it's coming because you got the schedule already. Because if you're a patron, if you're in the Peacekeeper Corps, you get all those details up front before anybody else does. You get the show notes. You get all this stuff. So definitely go over to patreon.com/IPC podcasts. Become a patron. Support the show. Support us. It's just an all-around great deal. And you can follow us at IPC Podcast on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow Zach, who isn't here tonight, at Zach the Voice. You can follow me personally at Ben Heart with no E, and Slate at the SWU. And yeah, so and Chad, please tell the people where they can find you on all the social medias, and of course about Star Wars culture.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at ChadBTI, where I tweet about random things. Sometimes soccer, sometimes Star Wars, sometimes Lord of the Rings. I don't know, whatever I feel like. It's my Twitter. I can do what I want. And then
it's my Twitter, and I can do what I want.
Gosh darn it! And then you can find me here on YouTube as well, producing a show called Star Wars Culture. So look them up. It's fun. We have a fun time.
Yeah.
And then you can find us also on Twitter at Star Wars with a Z. So
Star Wars.
Wars with culture. So it's just replace the last S. You replace the S in the Wars with the Z, and then you can find us. It's not Zor Wars.
One day we're gonna wrestle that Star Wars culture Twitter tag away from the person that's hoarding it right now. But for right now, we are just Star Wars culture.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun over there. I'm not on the show. You're on the show more than I am, and you're not on the show a whole lot. You're mostly doing the background and making the show work in the background, which is what you were talking about earlier. That we use the same system here for IPC that we use over there, and you've never seen it from this perspective.
I was so confused when logging in. I was like, I don't know what to do. I know what to do on my side. But yeah, no, had a fun time. Can't wait to do this again. Froze at the end.
It's great having me.
Froze at the end.
IPC podcast.
think Ben froze, guys. I think Ben's frozen, guys. I think we lost Ben. Oh no. I don't know what to do. Yeah. I don't know. Help. Ben, this is your show. Man, I thought it was me. I was confused. I was like, oh, am I frozen? All right. I don't know. I think we lost Ben, guys. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He says he's here. Is our producer here though? That's the real question. I don't know. Guys, I think we lost Ben, and our producer is not here right now. So I don't know what to do, guys. Zack Snyder. Oh wait. Oh, there he is. There he is. I was confused.
Oh, okay. I'm back on.
I thought I was frozen, and I was like, oh, I'll wait until I unfreeze, and then like it zoomed in on my face, and I was like, oh wait, I'm not the one frozen. I have to stall.
Oh my god. It's like I'm getting towards the end. We haven't had any major issues, and like
Oh, there it goes again.
my internet's like, I'm about to end a career. And what the fuck? Is it am I still here?
Yeah, you're here. I literally you, Ben. This is gonna be interesting.
Oh my god.
Podcast,
Okay.
guys.
I was about to say bye. All right. So let me just get through this and try to end the show. Oh no, it's already going off the rails on a crazy train. We just want to finish. We just want to get out of here, out of this abyss. And yeah. Oh goodness. Okay, real quick. I'm just gonna run through this. Okay, so you can find the But of course, before we leave you, we'll just let you know you can find us at Podbean, ipcpodcast.podbean.com. That's where all of our episodes are. We're working on updating that. So if you see something missing, do not fret. But if you find something that you really want to listen to, like, something way back in the archives, let us know. I'll try to get it up there for you guys. You can find our swag at tpublic.com/user/IPC podcast. We got t-shirts, we got all kinds of stuff. At least the last I checked, they were up there because TeePublic has been kind of, they've been deleting stuff, so I've heard. So yeah, it's been kind of thing. Of course, you can find us right here on Fandom Empire on YouTube bi-weekly. That's every other week. So not next week, but then next week we'll be back to discuss Justice League Part 2. Yeah, we're live right here on the YouTubes now. And then obviously each and every episode is available via just the audio on your podcatchers. And speaking of which, of course, go to iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And if they have a review section, leave us a 5-star review. It really does help the show and helps bump us up in the rankings. Really good. And then each of our episodes shows up on StarWarsUnderworld.com all the time too, and you can watch the video and audio versions there, and that's kind of our little home away from home. So Chad, unless you have anything else to add, I think we did this.
Not at all. This was fun.
Thank you so much, Chad. Thank you to Zach wherever he is. Hope he's having a good time. And I think we did it. So without further ado, guys, thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a good one. And may the peace be with you. I don't know how to turn off this thing. Bye-bye.
This podcast is sponsored in part by Benjamin Hart
That's me!
and yours truly, Zack Arnold.
And by participation from listeners like you. So let's tune in to another episode of
IPC.
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 IPC. IPC. IPC.
IPC.
IPC.
IPC. The Intergalactic Peace Coalition podcast.
All the galaxies.
All for you.